Hey, guess who's here? That's right, it's me. With another Wheel Wednesday.
I seem to have free time on Wednesdays, at least, for now.
So I can do voiceover. Today for Wheel Wednesday, TheAbyssGarden.
Prompt being, the last snake.
What'd I do with this?
It may be a surprise, but
Big snake.
I mean, I guess the big isn't really, like, directly from the prompt, but the snake sure is.
So I didn't really, do any twisting with that. However, instead of making it like the last snake in general, which, well, I started doing that, and then I decided to add wings. So eventually, it's the last winged snake. Ooh, completely different. And then, like, I don't know, 80% of the way through, probably, maybe less than that actually. Took a while. But I came up with quote-unquote lore on why it's the last winged snake. And basically, the lore is dragons. Dragons outcompeted them. That's it. So there's not really... I lied about the lore. It is a lore, but not really. I'm a big liar. Anyway, talking about the thing, the
Painting, whatever, illustration.
so, I don't know.
I was thinking about putting it around rocks, or maybe trees, like just
Ancient giant things. Ended up going with just rocks. Why? Because it's hiding away, more than likely. Snakes like hiding under, a bunch of random stuff, so why not in some sort of weird, overgrown, possibly cave. Kind of really hard to tell due to the, only being able to see giant snake and a few stalagmites. Which I guess might not even be real stalagmites, because if this is not a cave, then I don't know if they're still called stalagmites if they form from, like, regular erosion instead of dripping. I don't know. I'm not a cave-dwelling enthusiast. I don't know. Anyway, I started by doing how I normally do renders with the darker outline and then using my one kind of paintbrush blending knife thing to go in there and, render. But I didn't really like how it made the scales look. Like they were really oddly smooth, which, like, yes, scales are, but I just didn't like it. So eventually I end up using... I'm not sure what it is called, actually. I never looked, but it is a default critter brush where it's like a flat pencil, as if you were holding a pencil on its side, basically. So I use that for a lot. Like, so much stuff is that, because I don't know, I really like that brush, so I've been using it a whole lot more. And I eventually redo the entire head with it, because it does, you get me. Like, it looks fine right now, but eventually I end up doing the whole body with that pencil brush, so I'd go back and do the head again, just because it looks so much worse when the body is completely different. I guess I'll also talk about, since, like, that's basically just what happens with the snake body. I guess I block in the highlights and shadows right away before scales, just so I can, like, paint the scales on top of, like, the light and shadow. That is probably something to note. I also currently putting in, like, the shadow of the scales rather than the scales themselves first. Again, paint the scales on top of that. But I accidentally do them backwards, technically, or backwards from the way I wanted to, so I go back in and fix that, which is what I'm doing right now. Whatever, doesn't matter that much. It's just extra work for me. Painting on scales now, where it's like actually doing the lights for the scales. Anyway, back to the ground that I was talking about. I made it like muddy where the snake is hanging out all the time, and then like a little grassy grove, because,
it would be depressing
if it was actually just in some weird mud pit for who knows how long. Anyway, yeah, that's about all of that. So now I'm redoing the head bit with the same brush I did for the body.
make it look cohesive.
and in my opinion, just nicer.
Just a nicer texture.
You know, pencil. Also, I'm kind of real sorry if, like, vehicles have been audible this whole time. I hope not. This mic is supposed to have some sort of a noise suppression, so hopefully you
Don't just hear cars.
because I can't do much about that.
Oopsies.
Anyway, at some point as well with the scales, I
Do something that real scales.
don't have, which is I give them like sharp points. Like some scales, yes, do have sharp points, but I'm talking like
Tiny little serrations.
and not really like a single point, which is what I am currently doing. So as you can see, instead of being like one large point, it's a bunch of tiny points that kind of look like moss. But like, it's obviously growing with the scale rather than,
You know, moss would be flopped over.
gravity affecting it and all that. And now here I'm finally adding the wing. Well, wings, plural. There are two of them. And
Yep.
it's imagination that they can allow it to fly.
Magic.
This is why dragons outcompeted them, because look at those things. And I also use that same brush I used for the scales for the wings. I just like it, okay? It's nice, it's cool. It's a cool brush. It's got nice texture and a nice,
Straight, hard edge and a softer,
I don't know, with this, just a soft edge, like a gradient. And it's a default critter brush. Yippee! I looked at the name, Pencil 5 tilted. Yep. That's a loud vehicle. Yeah, it looks like my mic's picking. Whatever. I'm not a professional.
and I don't have time to re-record this.
Now, onto the ground. So I decided to like completely redo. Well,
I guess it wasn't completely redoing,
but I blended in the grass that I had with the. It's like a. I don't remember the actual name, but I put a community post about it when I got them. But it's like an actual painterly brush, or it's like actual trying to be paint. Way more than anything else in Critter, at least. So I used that, or I used some of those to blend in the grass on the ground, and then I used again that same pencil brush I used for the scales on grass, like individual grass blades, not obviously the painted stuff. You get it, you get it.
and now I'm adding in a character.
Why? Because
Without a character,
who knows how big the snake actually is?
hint, very large.
So for the character, I ended up doing a
Older character, creature,
whatever that I used. I don't remember the day. I should have checked. But it's Forest Nymph. From whenever that was. Within 200 days, I think. Probably. And then little forest spirits from Spirit Forest. Which I think came after Forest Nymph. Anyway, they hang out together. So yeah, that's that character. And the little guys that are like 2 pixels. And now I'm adding snakeskin. Why? Because this snake has been here for who knows how long, so
Of course there's going to be snakeskin.
it's like what snakeskin.
What? I flabbergasted myself. It's what snakes do. They shed.
Their scales. And so, yeah. How did the one get hanging up like that in the top right corner? I don't know. Just did. And, yep,
I use that same pencil brush again.
I really like it. Okay.
It's not a problem.
It's evolution of style.
Probably.
I don't know. Anyway, that's like all I really have time for. So,
Thank you for listening. Sorry if you could hear cars the whole time.
and happy Wheel Wednesdays. Many more to come, hopefully, maybe. Bye-bye. Bye. Have a good day. Bye. 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 Bye.